All right, everybody, welcome to a special live stream. Sorry, my microphone was not clipped to me, so I had to grab my microphone. Welcome to an impromptu live stream here from us at Go Cloud Careers. My name is Chris Johnson. I am the Chief Operating Officer, joined by Elonzo Coleman, our Chief Marketing Officer, and Mike Gibbs, our founder and CEO. So, of course, we are here today to talk about AWS certifications, and specifically about the AWS exam retake. So Pearson VUE recently announced that they will be offering free AWS certification retakes. So we're going to be talking about that. We're going to talk about the AWS certification value. Is the AWS certification worth it in light of this news? We're also going to talk a little bit about AWS Cloud Quest. I think Mike said he was telling me he wanted to say a few words about that. So we're here again. We're going to be talking about the AWS exam certification retake, AWS Cloud Quest, all things AWS certifications as it relates to this retake. So that's what we're going to talk about. Got you guys here on LinkedIn. Got you guys here on YouTube. Got you on Twitch. Let us know where you are from in the chat box. I know we've got a wide audience of people here, so we're just going to be here. We'll be here for about 20 to 30 minutes, maybe, talking with you all about this. But before we get started, I do want to tell everybody of something that we've got going on today. So today at 1 p.m. Eastern, we have a free webinar that we go over how to get your first cloud architect job. So I just want to make sure everybody is aware of that. I put that link in the LinkedIn chat and in the Twitch and YouTube chat. So just if you're interested in how to become the ultimate cloud architect, join us on that webinar. We're going to be sharing some good information with you. Whether you work with us, train with us, or you do it on your own, you'll be able to use the information from this webinar. So take advantage of that. That will be available. Also, we still have our discount countdown going on. We've got a 30% discount now available. We started off at 60%, and then we went to 50%. So if you missed 60 and 50, we're now at 30. And if you missed this, it's gone. So make sure to take advantage of that. You can take advantage of that by going to the link in the chat box as well. This won't be here forever. It ends on March 31st. So make sure to take advantage of that before it is gone. And let me make sure I put that in all the right spots. I got YouTube, I got Twitch, I got LinkedIn, so many places, so many people. So there we go. All right, so AWS certifications. So let me just get straight to it, and then I'm going to let Mike share his insights with us. So let's just get straight into it. I'm just going to read you what Pearson VUE has to say about this. So according to Pearson VUE, the AWS certification exam promotion, retake promotion, is available March 15th through May 31st. So if you take the exam during that time period and you fail, you can retake it again for free through August 1st. Of course, your same waiting period to retake it after you, if you happen to not pass it the first time, still applies. But you have to follow their instructions. They've got a coupon code that you got to make sure you enroll with when you purchase your certification exam slot. You have to utilize their code so that you can automatically have that free retake applied. So again, you have to do it by May 31st and retake by August 1st. Pretty simple, pretty straightforward. Not any tricks or gimmicks. Pearson VUE is pretty straightforward on everything they do. So no matter what testing or what certification or what industry, they're pretty straightforward. So I like that. Terms and conditions form are 2 paragraphs that are like a total of 7 sentences. So it's like, all right, perfect. Keep it simple. But Mike, I know you've got a lot to say about this. I've got a few things to say, and I'm sure Elonzo's got some things to say here. So
absolutely. So I want to talk about this AWS retake policy, exam retake policy, and what it means for you in your cloud engineering career, your cloud architect career, or whatever career you actually desire. So to begin, I want to talk a little bit about microeconomics. For those of you that are not familiar, macroeconomics is, say, the large economy in itself, and microeconomics refers to microcosms of the economy. For example, cloud computing would be microeconomics versus, the jewelry business, again, something small. And when we're dealing with economics, and this is so critical for you as you want to optimize your career, you have to understand the supply and demand curve. And I'm going to make it very simple. The greater the supply, the lower the price. The lower the supply, the higher the price. The greater the demand at a low supply, woohoo, now you're really expensive. And what you're really looking for is a way to increase the demand while decreasing the supply. So you don't want to be what everybody else has. I'll give you an example that we're all familiar with. Let's say a diamond. I remember when I bought my wife a diamond 26 years ago when we were going to get married. Guess what? It was expensive. And then later that day, guess what? We decided to do a barbecue and I bought some charcoal. Now, guess what? A diamond and charcoal come from carbon. It's the same thing. The only difference is the diamonds and carbon that's been compressed for thousands and thousands of years. And all of a sudden, it's expensive. Why is it expensive? Because it's a scarce resource. If you go to Germany, a Mercedes is not that expensive. Taxis are made out of Mercedes. Why? Because the supply is there. When I go to my home village in Greece, and it's a beautiful place, let me tell you, and I want to get an exotic olive oil, it's like €2. Now, if I go to the Palm Beach Gardens Mall where I live, it's like $100 for the same thing that's €2 or basically $2.14 in Greece. Why? Because in Greece, it's just normal. Everybody grows their own olive trees. We all make our own olive oil, and it's delicious, let me tell you. But you get back to America, and it's a luxury because it's the supply and demand curve. Now, unfortunately, the same thing happens with your careers. And we're going to tell you how, in the end of this, to earn at the top end of the earnings, because unfortunately, AWS certifications are not going to get you there now. That doesn't mean you shouldn't take them, and we're going to talk about it. So the goal should be to limit the number of supplies. Let's talk about the Cisco Certified Internet Expert. I'm going to show you at some point today what it takes to pass that exam. And we're going to compare that to the AWS Advanced Networking so you can understand the scarcity in the resources. Now, AWS most likely wants a lot of people out there that are AWS certified. And why? In the AWS certification exams, they don't teach you how to become a cloud architect. They don't teach you how to become a cloud engineer. In fact, they don't teach you how to build any career at all. But what they do is they bias you towards using AWS services. Let's use this super cool DynamoDB. Guess what? In reality, in real world, where 98% of customers are multi-cloud, can't use DynamoDB. Same thing with Amazon Aurora or ECS. Now, they're not bad services. They're excellent services. These are truly great services that are equally good as anything else. But in multi-cloud, you can't use vendor proprietary services. So it's in a company's best interest, and Azure does the same thing, and Google does the same thing. We're not going to be picking on AWS. They want to get everybody certified, because by doing so, it lowers the cost of the resources that work for them. Don't worry, you can make a lot more money in tech, and I'm going to show you how. But it lowers your value, it lowers your salary if certifications is your only approach. And the more people that are out there, they can say, we've got this many millions of AWS certified people. And that makes it easier for them to walk into a business and say, come with us. There's a surplus of AWS people, and it's going to hire cheap people, and it's going to be silly easy to find them. That's what's going on. Now, how hard is AWS working to lower your salary? Real hard. First, they created a video game. Here, there's this game called Cloud Quest. Instead of taking your education seriously, you can learn while playing the video game. Now, guess what? In addition to the video game that makes it silly easy without you really learning under what's going on under the hood, now, guess where we're at? We're in a position where now you can take the exam, fail it, and go redo it to further increase the number of certified people. Now, we're not saying that certifications are worthless at all. Certifications are great for helping you get an interview. And some companies, like consulting companies, like to have a certain number of certified people on staff because it makes them look good. Again, certifications do have value. It's not that they're valueless, but unfortunately, what we're dealing with is increase the supply and decrease the demand. Now, if we were talking about some more sophisticated certifications, it would be less bad. Chris, could you bring up a picture of the Cisco Certified Internet Expert reading list and share that on your screen?
Sure. Give me just a second.
And I want you all to see this to understand why AWS certifications are not enough. Because I want you to understand the complexity, the scarcity. We'll talk about physicians, attorneys, CCIEs versus AWS.
You gotta love live TV, everybody. Mike throws me a curveball here.
I always throw my team curveballs. Adapt, improvise, overcome. It's a model I learned early in my youth, and I live by it.
Here we go.
Okay, so here we go. This is a basic CCIE reading list. This is about 50 to 60% of what a CCIE would need to be like me. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, this does not cover wireless. This does not cover voice. This does not cover security. This is just 20% of the networking world. And that's what the average CCIE would have to read to pass the CCIE exam. And this is in addition to many other things. We would go to the specifications on Ethernet from, say, the IEEE. We would have to read the Internet Engineering Task Force request for comments, which are the actual specifications for these protocols. And this covers about 10% of networking, 10 to 25. Now, Chris, if you can compare this list to the AWS Advanced Networking to try and compare them for sophistication.
Give me just a second.
Because I want everybody to see this. This is less than 20% of the networking world.
I had a feeling that you were going to ask me for that.
No.
All right, let's see. Networking, right?
Yeah, the AWS Advanced Networking book from
Right.
the official publication.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's difficult to see this comparison because this is what we have. Oh. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you can't really see the depth. It's just like one thing.
Here you
just
go. You got one book
thing.
that's 500 pages, like 550 pages or less. So before I showed you something that was 25 to 30,000 pages that covers 10 to 25% of networking. And here, woohoo, the AWS Advanced Networking, a 530-page book. Now, I want to make this clear to you. Who earns more, a physician or somebody that works at McDonald's? The physician. Why? It costs about $400,000 to be of education to become a physician, and it takes roughly 11 years to start. How about a lawyer? Another $400,000 education. And guess what? It takes them 7 years to get started in their career. And very few people would actually get that far. And anything really great, Navy SEALs, Delta Force, Marine Raiders, professional athletes, and high-earning careers, it's the same supply and demand curve. The best, the cream rises to the top. So again, I'm not saying that AWS certifications are not good. What I'm saying is this just devalues them even more. So I've spoken to thousands of hiring managers and thousands of recruiters, thousands of C-level executives, and everybody that hires them along the way. And I asked them what they think of certifications, and they're like, well, I don't care about certifications per se. I care, can the person do the job? And we can give you examples of people like Delroy Bad, who got a cloud security architect job after our training with no tech background, and he had 0 certifications. Or people like Robert Welch, who got a great cloud security architect job as a cloud practitioner. Now, I still find value in certifications, and I'm going to tell you to get them. Get 2 professional certifications for your career. 1 professional AWS, 1 professional Azure, 1 professional Google, and 1 big industry networking. The CCNP is about 15,000.
You need to put an R in between each of those that you just listed.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't want you getting 6 certifications, because if you do, you're going to look like a certification junkie. So while we're at it, I'll make it clear, and I'm going to show you something else on how to earn more money in tech. But I'm going to tell you right now, certifications used to be the vehicle. They were, but they're not. What changed it? Video game-based training. Okay, that lowered it. Free retakes. That lowered it. Exam dump. Just type AWS exam dumps, and you can buy or rent or see for free on the internet the entire exam you're going to see before you even take it. And guess what? For a couple $100, you can pay somebody to take your exam too, and they'll pass it for you because they have the answer key ahead of time. So what do you do? How do you stand out? Well, it's going to be related to these 3 things. One is it's really going to be related to your business acumen, your soft skills, your communication skills, your leadership skills, and your executive presence. Now, let me show you jobs that require business acumen. Architect jobs require business acumen. Management jobs require business acumen. Sales jobs require business acumen because our roles with any of these jobs is to make our customers more successful with technology. And as the technology changes, like ChatGPT-4, software engineering jobs, gone. Cloud engineering jobs reduced probably by 80%. DevOps engineers reduced by probably 50%. Now, what happens when you got all this complicated technology floating around out there? Well, now businesses have an opportunity to use it, but they need people that can figure the technology out. There's nothing in an AWS certification that teaches you how to solve a business problem. There's nothing in an AWS certification that teaches you how to build a business case. Heck, their thing is, woohoo, you take your people off of a capital expense into an operational expense. Well, got to tell you, if you don't examine the organization's capital structure, if you don't examine the organization's weighted average cost of capital, if you don't examine, the full business case and the utilization, you're going to put your customer in a bad situation. Unfortunately, your replacement will actually thank you for the new job that they received as you get escorted out the door by security. I don't want that for any of you. I want you to all have the best career. So let's talk about business acumen very quickly. And while we're at it, in the description below, we have a document you can download about how to earn more money in your tech career. So the key is, as you realize this, as you realize these certifications are going to become a commodity, you should still get them, as we described, for your branding, but they can't be your basis of training. I'll show you some examples of jobs that actually require business acumen. Now, if you go to salary.com, I can show you right now. If you go there, you'll find the average salary of someone with strong business acumen skills is $533,000 per year. I'm sorry, $553,000 a year. So let's evaluate some jobs that have business acumen. Did I not do this? Chris, I was trying to share my screen. Here you go as a principal architect at AWS. Now, AWS is one of the lower paying companies, but a principal architect, and I'm going to tell you what that is. It's a cloud architect that knows how to get in front of the customer, knows how to schmooze, knows how to buy their customers dinners and drinks and entertain clients and really lead the customer to success. You're dealing with 372, but you notice you got a range here of 291 to 491. That's a $200,000 pay differential. Some of that has to do with how well a lot of that has to do with how much you impressed them in your interview to get some interview training. And the rest of it's related to your business acumen, emotional intelligence, executive presence. So let's look at another job that takes business acumen, and you'll see why we're not certification obsessed. We're focused and we're obsessed about helping our audience earn more money in their technology career. Let's see, here's another job that requires some business acumen, a senior director at Cisco, a manager that's got some strategy. Now you're dealing with $527,000 per year, but you need your business acumen. No senior director is going to walk in there and say, I got a bunch of AWS certifications. Nobody cares. They care about, can you lead the team? Can you bring out the best in others? And can you apply technology to solve business problems? So here's another one. I'll show you and give you another example off of the screen. So IBM is one of those big, old, strong companies. They're not at the top of the pay, but boy, they're recognized for everybody. Here we've got another job. I think this is from IBM. Chris, you can show a senior salary for senior director at IBM. Pretty strong again, about $400,000 a year with a pay range of $314 to $521. Hey, the better your executive presence is, the better your communication skills, the better your leadership skills, the better your sales skills. That's going to determine your earning. And of course, how much you impress them on the interview. And again, that's related to these skills too. How about somebody at Palo Alto? Palo Alto is a great cybersecurity thing, and this is another job that they don't care about your certifications. Here, Chris, if you want to share that on the screen. Here you've got a senior director at Palo Alto. Again, a position of business acumen, leadership, sales, executive presence, emotional intelligence. We're dealing with over $500,000 a year here. The pay range of $425 to $709. Well, big pay range. So after the interview, master your executive presence, master your leadership, your sales skills, emotional intelligence, and you're there. And I'll show you one more. And here's another architect. And why do architects get paid so well? We don't touch the technology. We don't configure the technology because we apply the technology to customers' business problems. We design it, present it, and sell it. And if you're going to design and present and sell a technology solution, you better understand the business. Otherwise, you won't be solving the right problem. So here's the last one I'm going to share with you. Now, I was a principal architect within 2 years at the time I started working in technology, and all of you can be too if your training is the right way. Chris, if you want to share the Google principal cloud architect seller, we're dealing with, again, over $500,000 a year with a pay range of $394 to $677. What determines that? Well, how much can you sell to your customers? Because we're commission-based, a lot of it. What's that determined on? Your executive presence, your communication skills, your sales skills, your leadership skills, and your emotional intelligence. Of course, your interview. Your interview is everything when it comes to getting your starting salary. So we've covered a couple of things. So how do you use this in your life? I still want you to get certifications. I do. But professional certifications, don't waste your time on a cloud practitioner. It's completely worthless. There's no point. We even made a video of why you should never do it. Don't do this horrible advice. There's some certification advisors saying, here, do a DevOps associate, a SysOps associate, a developer associate, a solution architect associate, and you're going to look good. What are you going to look like? You're going to look like someone that basically learned a little bit about 4 different people's careers. And guess what? I can't hire an enthusiast or a hobbyist in any real job. Now, I want you to think about what happens on your resume when you put 4 different careers down. I'll give you an example. Doctor, accountant, dog walker, an airplane pilot. Now, do you want that person doing surgery on your spine? I don't. Now, if I saw somebody that was physician for the last 20 years with the specialization of orthopedics, that did an orthopedic residency at, say, University of Pittsburgh and did a fellowship at the Cleveland Clinic, no, that's somebody I want to talk to. It's the depth. It's the specificity of training. That's why pro football players don't train like marathon runners. It just builds the brand. So get one good cloud cert, one of them. AWS Certified Solution Architect Professional. Why? Because it's harder than most of the exams. It's nothing when compared to that CCAI that I showed you, because we're dealing with about 800 pages of reading versus, say, 50,000 pages of reading, but it's still something. 2, get a professional industry certification. The cloud is nothing more than a network and a data center. That's it. Remove all the fancy hype, all the elastic nonsense or the cloud nonsense, and it's just a network and a data center. And everybody makes up their own silly names. You know, I walk into a chief information officers and then talk about object storage. They know what it is. I'm not going to call it blob. I'm not going to call it cloud storage, which is Google's funny name, and I'm not going to call it AWS Simple Storage Solution. So kind of keep. So get a networking certification like a CCNP, the Cisco Certified Network Professional, or get a security certification like the CISSP, or get a deep data center certification like the VMware Certified Professional, because that's what you got, network and a data center. And then spend the rest of your time focusing on your business acumen, your sales skills, your executive presence, your communication skills, your leadership skills. And I've shown you the financial reason why. And then I'll turn it over to my team, because doing so, you'll be that unicorn that's impossible to find, the person that can marry the tech to the business. There'll be a scarcity for you, which means you're the rare bird that they're looking for. Rarity and scarcity becomes the diamond versus ordinary everyday coal. So Elonzo's a marketing executive with an MBA. Chris is my chief operating officer, who also has an MBA, and they're both experts on business, leadership, and applying technology to solve business problems and bringing out the best in the business. So I want them to share their thoughts with you as well.
Chris, okay. Well, I'll go ahead. Now, Mike has illustrated some very, very important points here about economies of scales, and I added in before. For an example, you'll find a penny on the street far often than you will a $100 bill. Why? Because pennies, they're not worth much. That's why people are not looking for them. That's why you find them all the time, and you can find them in great abundance anytime you want, rather than the $100 bill. We talk about value, we talk about scarcity, and it's the same application here. So I see a lot of emphasis on certifications. They're in demand. People want them, X, Y, and Z, and it all depends on maybe the country that you live in, or the overall culture of the company. However, when you're able to demonstrate the capability and competency that is needed to be successful, certifications will not in any way exemplify what you want to share with a hiring manager, with the person that is in charge of your promotion, or some sort of gateway to entry to increase your salary. So emphasize and understand that it's your competency. It's not the certifications that matter. Don't let the certifications be the ambassador of who you are as a professional, because they're very limited. They're very common. It speaks to the same stuff. What is the difference between what this person is doing versus what you are doing when you all have the same certifications, the same pathways, the same trajectories? It's going to be at a point where it's a coin toss, if you will. So take control of your future by underscoring your capabilities, your competencies outside those certifications, so that the hiring manager or whoever is of interest to having you a part of the team, knows your full capabilities and they can understand your true value. Chris?
Yeah, so I want to add into this. I think Mike and Elonzo have made made good points about this, but I just want to say it in my own way. Who benefits from allowing people to get free retakes? Yes, you as an individual, you get the benefit, a free retake, but on a macro scale, who gets the benefit? The person that's offering the certification. Because as Mike has pointed out, the more people that they can point at as saying, hey, we have this big of an army or this big of a populace or this big of a workforce, even if they're not, an employee of AWS, but we have this big of a population that is familiar with our services, the more beneficial it is to them. So yes, this is a Pearson VUE announcement, but it directly benefits both Pearson VUE and AWS. It benefits you as an individual. So again, certifications that they have value. There's a value. So it's just, I think it's important just making sure that we recognize that value for what it is, and not appropriating or assigning too much value to it, or the incorrect value, or the value over here versus the value over there. It has its value for you as an individual, and it has value for the company or companies or providers. Consulting companies value them because they can go to AWS and say, hey, I got so many people that are familiar with your products, give me some benefits, and so there's so many people that get value out of it, but it's important that you recognize the value for you. The value for you is it's a good analogy. Mike likes his icing on a cake thing. I like the icing on a cake. The certification is the icing, and the competency and the knowledge and the ability to do the job is the cake. The icing's great, but you're only going to eat so much icing. You want the cake. Some people want all the icing, but most people want the cake and the icing. But another way to look at it is certifications. Let's look at it like a country club or an elite club, dining establishment, social club, event space, whatever. Certifications are kind of like the pocket square, or the high-end watch, or the nice shoes, or the nice belt. Anybody can get them and try and get into the club. Anybody can get the nice shoes and the nice belt and the nice pocket square, the nice watch, and try and get into the clubs. But once you're in, can you back up the pocket square? Can you schmooze and booze and engage and interact and talk your way through everyone that's in that club, in that organization? So certifications are like that. Anybody can get them, but it's the value that's underneath it. The pocket square is only so much. The watch is only so much. It's the individual and what that individual actually has. And in this case, that thing that you have or that you should have is the knowledge and the competency and the ability to do the job. So, end of the story, supply and demand. The more people that are certified, it's just like learn to code. Coding was all the rage 15, 20 years ago. Like if you learned to code in the early 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, you were highly sought after, well paid, and cream of the crop. Now, everybody knows how to code. And the pay is reflective of the supply. So that's my 2 cents here. Mike, if you've got any last words to close it out.
And I will, but I liked your example so well. I want to just capitalize on it one more time because I want you to all understand. Imagine going and buying the uniform of a professional NFL player. You bought a shirt, you bought you bought the pants, you bought the same headgear, the same protective gear, and the same shoes. And try and play with an NFL player. Just try it. I promise you, it's not enough just to have the gear. You have to have it. So don't focus on the icing, focus on the cake. Get your certifications and realize they are a tool. They're going to help you get that interview, meaning they're going to get you that tryout. But make sure your training in the back end is the thing that's going to get you hired. In the description of this video, we've got a couple things for you to really help you in your career. First, we've got a document that's going to help you win the interview and tell you everything that you need, and we also offer incredible interview training. 2, we've got a document down there to help you make more money in your tech career. Please read that. I want you to all have the highest earnings out there. And even though we're teaching you how to do it, believe me, not enough people will take the road less traveled. You're going to be good to go and earn a lot more money with this discussion. We have how to get your first cloud architect job document there too. And it's going to tell you all of what you need to know to be an architect. And you can learn it with us or you can learn it with your own, but you got that full cloud architect solution architect roadmap because I want to change the world. I want to get everybody that wants a good high-paying job, a good high-paying job in the cloud. And of course, this afternoon, we have our How to Get Your First Cloud Architect Job webinar. And it's going to be a great conversation. We do it each week. We tell you everything you need to know. We present for approximately 30 minutes, and then my executive team is there, and we answer your questions. You want to learn about branding? We got Elonzo there. You want to learn about HR and corporate strategy? We got Chris there. You want to learn about building an elite tech career and asking about how to do it? I've been helping people build their tech careers for over 2 decades now. And I've worked in this industry for close to 30 years. It's getting scary when I say it, but it's close to 30 years. So I want to help you get there. So please join us in the How to Get Your First Cloud Architect Job webinar. We'll be able to speak face to face and have a conversation to help you get to your goals. So I hope you enjoyed this quick show, and I will see many of you this afternoon at 1 p.m.
Bye, everybody. Have a good day.
Take care.